So my idea today is I'm going to look at his least popular video. I've looked at his most popular video, and it was, I don't know why it was that popular. I didn't think it was really very interesting. But I'm interested to see, I reserve the right to choose one of the like 3 or 4 least popular, just because, like a channel announcement might be the least popular. So within reason. Interesting. I might do that, actually. That looks interesting. Talking about Bart Ehrman, who I think is one of the smartest people in the business. Fucked my neck up a few days ago, and it has still not recovered. Sex without a condom. Listen, they're right. Oh my god, 424, 400. This man be posting. I bet he wasn't actually sick. I bet it was something, just play on words. Interesting. Okay, so like these first few are like not videos. There's little announcements. Do you want free magazines? I do not. Big announcement, pro-life class, this thing, this, 4 minutes long. I mean, we can watch this. It's gonna be miserable, I'm sure. I'll unmute it. I'll go ahead and lead up front with it should be legal. Yes, it should be legal. Now, Trent will probably let's adjust that. Trent will probably suggest that it's never acceptable, so it shouldn't be legal because it's murder. So if you allow it to be legal, then you're legalizing murder, right? So even in tragic situations where the woman is going to die, or the baby's going to die, or let's say it was rape or incest, or various reasons why somebody might not want to keep a pregnancy. I am sure he doesn't believe there should be exceptions. My shirt is competing with the green screen. Okay. So I'm fairly confident that he's a good Catholic. He's going to say there should never be legal abortion ever. Even if people die, that's sad, but they shouldn't be having an abortion, so really they get what they get. Right? I think that's probably where we're going to go with this. And I disagree strongly with that perspective.
Should abortion be legal so that it's safe? Some people say if you make abortion illegal, women are going to get abortions anyways.
This is true. They do. We know that because they did it before abortions were legal. They've done it for thousands of years.
But they're going to go to dangerous back alleys Here's the problem I have with this kind of argument. I think that it has factual problems,
Okay.
but more importantly, it has moral problems.
Of course.
What this argument's basically saying is we should keep it legal to kill smaller people so that it's safer for bigger people to kill smaller.
Again, just for one really like obvious question. If the doctor tells you that the pregnancy is going to kill you, sometimes they know the pregnancy is not going to be viable and it will kill you, or it could kill you. If you know that that is the situation, and you can choose not to have an abortion, certainly, but are you saying that that's the outcome that we should want? Is like, well, just let whatever happens happens. There are many other good reasons for people to not want to carry through with a pregnancy. But in the case of one person's life is at risk and the pregnancy might not even be viable, and then the child would have to grow up without a mother, why should you not be able to say, let's try again? This one hasn't come out yet.
Because that's what abortion is. Abortion is the direct ending of the life of a very small child within a woman's womb.
Again, so okay, is if you believe that all killing of all animals is murder, like should be prosecutable murder, right? You kill a cow, you kill a duck. Maybe it's only mammals, so you kill a cow, you kill a dog, you kill a rabbit, death penalty for you. Go to hell. Unless you take that position, which you could. I would respect it if you were that. You would be very annoying, but if you were that serious about it, fair enough. You're really committed to your belief that the taking of any life is wrong. But I don't believe that a 3-day-old zygote should have legal rights. I don't think that it should have a social security number. They used to not name babies until the 8th day just to make sure they didn't die before then, because then it was a person. So there are all kinds of different concepts of when does a baby become a human being, right? A part of people. And a lot of societies have agreed that, whatever you decide after, it doesn't count until it comes out. And there are all kinds of methods that women used to use to induce abortions. So, this is a long understood concern. The ability to choose to not be pregnant is very important for women. There are a lot of women who are pro-life, but a lot of the people who are pro-life are men, because men don't have to be pregnant. And women who are pregnant are often not job competition, or they can't leave you, because of the children. I'm not saying all men, hashtag not all men, but I am saying that this is the reality. That's one reason so many men are pro-life. Maybe it's not the only reason. Maybe they really do believe that you're killing a baby, right? Some men really want to be dads. I grew up with them. I get it. I don't really get it, but I kind of get it. You want to be a dad, and you value that, and that's important to you. Okay. But what you care about does not change what is, scientific, for example. And people like this will get mad at me for being like, well, you got to trust science. Because you don't have to trust science, you have to trust God. But a lot of people have a lot of different ideas about who or what God is or was or could be. And I'm not convinced that your version is more right than somebody else's version, because they're pretty convinced that their God is right. They've got scientists, and they've got miracles, and they've got all these sorts of things. So all I can do right now is trust, like, objective reality. And they don't like it when you talk about objective reality, because everything is subjective. It has to be. Except that, of course, they don't think it's subjective. They think they're being objective. I thought I was being objective, but I absolutely not.
So should we make killing smaller people, which is what abortion is, legal, so that it's safer for the bigger people to kill the smaller people? I would be completely fine with abortion if it was as safe for the child as it is for the mother.
Oh, damn, you got
But
it.
simply isn't.
Damn, good one. I bet that kills. And I know he didn't write it, but I bet that kills. If it's as safe for the child as it is for the mother, I'd be all for abortion. Ha ha ha.
So just as a matter of justice, we can't make it legal so it's safer for a bigger person to hurt a smaller person. And I'll give you an example. You've probably heard of female genital mutilation, or what's sometimes called female circumcision. It's female genital mutilation. That's what this sign is referencing. And it's when people mutilate the genitals of very young girls. They call it circumcision. It's not what it is. And it's practiced in areas of Africa and the Middle East and among some immigrant communities, even in the United States and the Western world. So
True.
what if someone said, look, these people are going to do female genital mutilation anyways on these girls, so why not make it legal so that it's safer for them to do that? No, it should not be legal so that it's safer.
Listen, these two are not of the same degree. I would have to. I don't think I'm for. I think if women want to be circumcised, they can do it. I don't think many of them do. I certainly don't think anybody should be forced into it. I'm probably, I was raised Christian, and I always just assumed everybody was circumcised. But I think that probably I'm opposed to circumcision because you have no choice, right? You have no agency in the matter. So what if you don't want to be circumcised? I know some men take that very seriously. I don't. It's not that big a deal to me. But I could understand if it is a big deal to you, that was a choice made against your consent. You had no ability to say no. And I think that the same thing should apply to women as well. They should have the right to say no. So that's a human being with agency, being able to make a choice. Somebody who has already been, incorporated in the community versus something that only conceptually exists. Right, there's no consciousness. But it has a soul. How? Prove it. Right? Prove it. You can't prove it with the Bible. You have to prove it. Prove it. That there's a soul in there. And that you know exactly when it goes in there.
For a bigger person to hurt a smaller person. We can't try to legitimize.
Again, he is directly appealing to emotion. And fair enough. But he keeps calling it a person. And how do you define person? Right? Because people have different opinions of that. So Trent's definition of person is the Catholic definition. But somebody else might say when it has achieved consciousness, or when it has 2 years old, or when it opens its eyes, or whatever, right? That is a different idea than what Trent has, and he is intentionally using a language that is emotionally appealing, right? Because calling it a fetus, which is what it is sounds sciencey and makes it sound less like a little baby, right? When for 3 or 4 months it looks like, a small worm. I have a hard time getting it up for small worm rights. You know,
brutality or violence against innocent people. So this kind of argument to make abortion legal so that it's safe.
again, I keep stopping it. But again, it's not so much about doing violence, it's about consent. If you consent to be circumcised, then it's not violence against you. You have consented to do that because you want to or it's medically important. If you consent to an abortion, you're the only person that has any say in the matter. I don't think you should be forced to get an abortion, right? But I think that you should be allowed to get one if you and your partner agree that that's what you should do. Or if you don't have a partner and it was a bad situation and you don't want to have to drop out of high school. Yeah, but some people go through high school with yeah, I know. There are always people who are able to do things that are difficult, but your results by and large are not positive when that happens.
So that it's safer for bigger people to hurt littler people.
And they know that.
Morally, it just doesn't work. And factually, it has problems. Some people say that legalized
They know what the numbers are.
contributed significantly to a reduction in maternal mortality. But that's not the case. This graph comes from Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
So they try to show, well, look, see that after abortion became legal, death rates from pregnancy and things like that, maternal mortality decreased. But there was already a big decline from women who died from abortion. That prior to legalized abortion, you'll see that there was a big reduction in deaths from illegal abortions, but it wasn't from making abortion legal, it was from the introduction of things like penicillin.
So it was from making it safer to have an abortion, right? So here they're making it safer by introducing sulfa and then antibacterials, right? So that keeps infections down. And then you worry less about trauma and bleeding as you get safer, right? So when you legalize it and people are able to have a lot more sterile setups, it also becomes safer for women, right? And he can talk all he wants about how it was already going down, and it was. This is great. You could probably look at most things and like people's lifespans and find out that the issues go down a lot when we've discovered penicillin. But this is still a downward trend, if you will.
And then in the latter half of the 20th century, through better antibiotics and medical care, deaths from illegal abortion were already declining long before Roe versus Wade was decided in 1973. To also put this into perspective, the U.S. has legal abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy, even more so than many other nations in Western Europe that allow for legal abortion only in like the first or second trimester. Yet,
I have a thing to
the
say.
mortality rate is one of the highest in the developed world.
Hey Trent, let's talk about who the women who are dying in childbirth are. It's mostly black women, and it's mostly poor women. We have a great healthcare system if you have money, and if you're white. And I'm sure other people also get good treatment, and some black women get good treatment. But black women in the U.S. have some of the worst maternal outcomes of anywhere in the developed world. And that's not on purpose. Again, we're hiding the ball a little bit. 16 deaths per 100,000 births. Well, we also do have a lot more births. You know, Poland is a much smaller country than us. I understand this is population adjusted, but our hospitals are dealing with a lot more people.
16 deaths per 100,000 live births. Whereas if you go to other European countries that have legal abortion, not to the extent we do, they have lower maternal mortality rates. You look
They also have socialized healthcare in most of these countries.
in a nation like Poland, where abortion is basically illegal, they have a maternal mortality rate of 2 deaths per 100,000 live births. So you can protect the health of women and protect the health of their unborn children. That legal abortion.
I I'd be interested to see how Poland classifies abortions, because a lot of medical procedures in the U.S. are classified as abortions that are not like going in and getting a 8-month, pregnancy pulled out of you. Like if you have a miscarriage, the procedure to get the fetus out of you is an abortion. That's what it's called. Like that. So it's not you going in wanting to kill a baby, but it's still called an abortion. I don't know if Poland does that. I also don't know if they have a lot more access to abortifacients like mifepristone. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just take care of pregnant women in Poland. We do not do that here. Stress is a big issue for pregnancies, and a lot of pregnant women are stressed, especially if they are worried about how they can pay for this baby. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Abortion is not the answer, it's the problem. The final point I would make is that you can't say a medical procedure is safe if half the people involved in it always end up dying. So I would say that we can't keep abortion legal so that it's safe, because it's an unsafe procedure by its own merits, because it's designed to end the life of a small human being. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful for you.
It was not. Should I watch one more? All right, I don't super want to. How to help college students stay Catholic. That's interesting. To me, yes. I don't know if I will do any more. Oh, everything is so dumb. Every headline I see is just worse and worse. But there are some good things happening. What is that noise? Well, anyway, there are some good things happening in my personal life, which is fun. Going on a few small trips, but trips to very beautiful places. So we're going to go to Rocky Mountain National Park next week, I believe. We have our ticket. We just are not totally sure we're going to use it. Admission to the park is free on Monday, so we're planning to go, but there's a possibility we won't. It's not a big deal. But if we do go, it'll be beautiful, and it'll be a nice day. And then we have a wedding to go to in northern Colorado, and that'll be fine. I mean, it's like great, a wedding. But on our way up, it's possible that we will go to Hanging Lakes. We're still kind of waffling on it, but we might do Hanging Lakes because we have to pass right through that area on our way up. So that'll be lovely. And then in June, we're going to go stay in Vale for a day. Well, near Vale. And go to the GoPro outdoor games, which are free and hosted in Vale. So that'll be fun. The real point of that is to just be in Vale. But it'll be fun to have a little thing to go to, to kind of justify the drive. And as with everything you do in Colorado, there's a strong likelihood we will be doing hikes wherever we go. It's just the done thing. And I love it because it lets me take pictures. And I really enjoy taking pictures of beautiful things. And sometimes ugly things. But mostly, I like landscapes. So it's always nice for me to get to go out and take pictures of new stuff. You can take pictures of the same stuff and take different kinds of pictures of the same thing. Certainly get plenty of mileage out of it, but I always like to get new angles and stuff, new shapes to see. So that'll be fun. And then my parents are coming out, so we should be going to Rocky again in June sometime. So look, it's kind of like the beach when you live in Los Angeles. It is there. It's not that far away. And a lot, beach is free. I think mostly. But it's a hassle to get there. Parking is not necessarily free. And it's a hassle because parking is always a hassle everywhere in LA. It's not actually that close unless you live on the west side of LA, or up and down somewhere in Venice, Long Beach, in that part of the coast. Everywhere else, you got to drive across LA. And that's a fucking hassle. So a lot of people just don't go. You live in a beautiful place with beautiful beaches and beautiful weather, and yet you don't go to the beach because it is just too much trouble. And I didn't go to the beach that much when I lived there. You got to really be serious about going to the beach because it's just a hassle. And so Rocky's kind of like that. You got to get there. Traffic can get really bad on the way into the park. You have to reserve your entry time in advance. It can be a lot to get there. So a lot of people, want to go but just don't have the time. So I'm really happy that we are gonna have the opportunity to make a couple trips because it is very much the sort of thing you could go a whole year without doing. And it wouldn't be a tragedy, but it's one of the most worthwhile places to visit in the country, and it's only like 90 minutes away. So I am glad that we're going to be making a couple trips because it's easy not to. And then after that, I don't know what we'll do. But we've already got some plans for the next few weeks. And I love having plans. I love having new experiences. So that's the state of things at the moment. But I'm going to stop streaming now.